Alrighty, traders, good morning and welcome to the Bank of Canada rate decision. We're going to go ahead and dive into the actual technicals. We'll go ahead and see exactly what the market does at the hour. 9:45 is actually when things are going to happen. We'll go ahead and take a look. We've got about 7 minutes left before the big announcement. What is the central bank going to do? We believe it's going to be unchanged, but we'll talk about the details right after this. Alrighty, traders, well, welcome back. And yes, we're going to be talking about the Bank of Canada rate decision. And what does that mean? What does that mean for everyone? I know that there's a lot of traders that are following me that are holding Canadian crosses, be CAD Swiss or US dollar CAD. Maybe even Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, perhaps those two as well. But we're going to go ahead and take a look and see exactly what the market's going to do in the next 5 or so minutes. Now, what I'd like to do is take a look and see exactly what the deal is with Bank of Canada. Firstly, number one, they did keep the rates unchanged last time around, and so the policy interest rate is at 5%, and the inflation number. Everyone has to look at the inflation number, right? The inflation number is at 2.9%. If I actually go into the details of the inflation number, we can see that the inflation number has declined quite a bit since June 2022. So we have seen a downside move in inflation. It has sort of like flatlined since around about June 2023. So you can see right here we had a year of decline. Then around about June 23, it's pretty much stayed in sort of a flat area. It hasn't really moved much. Now it's outside this blue area here where they pretty much trying to keep it inside. They're trying to keep it inside that in fact they said they're around about the 2%, as close as possible to the 2%, but anywhere between 2% and 3% is something that they're going to be comfortable with. Now, why does that matter? Well, because traders, what's very important when the central banks make decisions is how is the job market? Because if the job market is up, and there's a lot of employment, we're going to have a lot more spending because there's more money to float around, more spending, more inflation, and then of course we're going to have issues with regards to interest rate policies that they may have to go ahead and hike interest rates in order to control inflation. Now, it could also be on the other side of the coin, which means that we could also start seeing higher prices in oil. That could also be pushing up inflation. So there's a couple of factors that do play a role. Now, with that being said, we don't want to go ahead and act as these fundamentalists. What we want to do is we really want to go ahead and take a look and see what is the market doing in regards to technical setups, all right? And so I'm going to go to a couple of pairs here, and specifically here, a US dollar CAD. We can see that we've got this big rising wedge. Now, naturally, as a technical trader, we would look at this and go, this is a key selling point, right? When you see these rising wedges, we tend to anticipate the market to break out of this wedge to the downside and see further lows being created. Now, this is not just one of the pairs that we pay attention to. If you go to another pair, like, for instance, the Canadian Swiss right here, what are we seeing here? We're also seeing a downward trend that had broken, but the market's come back and actually broken through that area and trying to break back up again. So a lot of traders would look at this and go ahead and compress the charts a little bit, and they would look at this pattern right here. We have a really nice bullish pattern right here. It is a bullish crown pattern. Market's gone ahead and retraced back to a very key level of previous support that is now currently the support from previous resistance. And so at this point right here, we'd be thinking bullish on the CAD Swiss. Now, If you're a technical trader and you're looking at this and you go, but big dog, I'm looking at a couple of things here. And the one thing that you're looking at is saying, hey, do we not have negative divergence here? Well, no, we do not, because we do have the oscillator pushing to the downside, but we got to take out the highs first. All right. So as the market starts working its way up, we need to see price trading above here to see negative divergence start playing a role. So this also is an encouragement to anticipate that the CAD Swiss will be seeing an upside move as well. Now, naturally, traders, if we and I'm not going to shy away from what we normally would expect if they keep the rates unchanged. If they keep the rates unchanged, last week we saw with the New Zealand, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, when they kept the rates unchanged, we saw a big bearish move to the downside. I'm going to go to one of the New Zealand crosses right here. Let's look at New Zealand CAD right here. And you can see right here we had this big bearish move. It was just in the day. That was it. After that, the market turned around and started, at least starting to move back. So it found a base of support, and then it started to work its way, currently right now, starting to work up. Now, do we see it continue with the CAD news? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But what we do see is that the technical setup right here is pretty much doing what we would anticipate. Market rallies up, we see correction. Even though it was the news announcement that brought it to the downside, it was a technical move supported by fundamental data. And today, I don't believe it's going to be any different. You know, we might see a little bit of whiplash type of movement. Right off the bat, I'm going to anticipate a weak Canadian dollar. But I'm going to say this. It always comes down to the actual verbiage. What is the verbiage in the statement that will make the market move in a direction? So it's not necessarily what they do with the rate, because that's almost priced in already. What is going to move the market is what is being said in the verbiage. We don't know that until it's released, but we will definitely see the reaction. So without even reading the statement, we're already on tell based on the news what the markets are doing. All right, out. All right, data is out. Clearly, they kept the rates unchanged. It was a given. That is pretty much what the market would be expect. Now let's go take a look and see how the market's reacting from these pairs. Here is the US dollar CAD. We're actually seeing a different reaction. So again, it's just naturally we'd think that the Canadian dollar would lose ground. In this case, we're looking at it gaining ground, which is now following the technical move, which is good. This is what we'd like to see. But what's important here, traders, is don't get too excited about this right now, because what's important is how the market ends up closing today and what it does from that point onwards, because we can see the market react back and forth a few times. But what we really want to start seeing is where the market closes up for the day, and does it break through levels of support and resistance. For us on the US dollar CAD, 35.38 right here, this level here has been a very, very important support level. All right, it's been a strong resistance level. Price has broken through that, but now we've gone ahead and moved sideways. And if we break below that, traders, we're chasing after this area right here at 33.60. All right, 33.60. In fact, we could even drop back down to 33.20 on the move. So again, it's great to see that we're getting some Canadian strength coming out here. But what we'd like to see is this continue, and we'd like to see the market chase after support levels and break below those support levels. Let's go to the CAD Swiss right here. Here's another position here on the CAD Swiss. Not a lot of price action move on this. If you really think about it, we've moved about 3 or 4 pips on the CAD Swiss. So not a lot of action out of this one right here. If we go to the lower time frame, let's pull up the lower time frame right here. So initially, we saw a downside move, and now moving back up again. So from the open, we're really seeing the market move 5 or 6 pips up. So the CAD Swiss is not really reacting too much, and we're not getting a big market reaction out of this. All right. Now I want to throw a little curveball in here and just point out a couple of things here. Traders, we're trading in a risk of trading environment. Now, what is a risk of trading environment? risk-off trading environment means that the market might be on risk on, but when it comes to currencies, we're looking at a risk-off sort of approach, because if the market is on a if the Dow is risk on and it's gone ahead and opened up higher, then what we're anticipating is the market to be in a short-term retracement move. Now, if we go back to the Dow right here, and why am I mentioning this? Because US dollar CAD and the CAD Swiss will be affected by that too. Not just on the news. The news might be 80% of the move, but the other 20% is really going to be dependent on where the money's flowing, right? At least in the short term. And we're looking over here on the Dow. The Dow this morning did open up bullish. If we go to the daily time frame right here, we can see that we did open up bullish on the day. All right, it opened up, closed over here, and now we're opening here. So we opened up bullish. So the natural expectation would be that the Dow would then correct itself, and that would cause a US dollar CAD push. All right, so US dollar CAD would push higher. We're not seeing this, and that's why the 80% of the move is coming off the news announcement. But I want to go ahead and remind everyone, there's still going to be some buying pressure coming into the US dollar CAD. And this is why it's so important to make sure that we're trading below the support level. And if we trade below the support level, we will then continue to see some heavy downside action with a little short corrective move. And so currently right now, this is good. All right, this is good. Now, granted, US dollar CAD, we also had some US data out this morning as well. And everything's lining up with what the Feds, I'm talking about the US Feds here, what they're looking for. And they're looking for lower jobs. So we're getting a little bit of added bonus here, because not only are we seeing that the Canadian move is helping the US dollar CAD to dip, but we're also having US dollar data that's also supporting this downside move. And that's going to help us drive further down south and get below the support level that we need to be below. And that is at 35, 38. So around about 35, 38, around about there, we need to see price stay below there on the day, close out below there, and that would indicate that we're on our way back down south on this particular pair. So this is super good. I'm actually very excited about the way the markets are moved right now. It's doing everything that we were hoping for. I would like to have seen a little more upside push on the CAD Swiss. It is starting to push a little more now. We've seen maybe a 10-pip rally since the open. Let's see here. Yep. Seen about a 10-pip rally since the news came out. Not a whole bunch. It's been only 5 minutes. Let's give it some more time. Let's take a look at some additional pairs like the Euro. Here's the Euro CAD right here. Also seen a downside move since the news came out. And by the way, from a technical perspective, this is setting up as an irregular flat pattern right here. So we see the market creating this irregular flat pattern right here, and so therefore here is where we're anticipating price to start dipping. We have a slightly overbought right here, but more importantly, this is where we should be looking to sell on Euro CAD. Very nice, very cool setup. Pound CAD, let's go pound Canadian dollar. Also should be looking for a sell-off right here. And truly is the fact, is what we're seeing right here is resistance. And we're seeing the market starting to indicate some downside action here. Bearish candlestick formation might be forming at the end of today, and that'll give us a nice little downside move as well on pound Canadian. So look for some further downside move on the CAD, the pound CAD as well. And then finally, we take a look at let's just take a look at the New Zealand CAD right here. New Zealand CAD back inside this range. All right. So there is a little bit of a battle that's taking place right now. Perhaps two strong currencies, New Zealand CAD, that's causing the market to move sideways. All right. Let's go take a look at Aussie CAD. I said that was the last one, but let's take a look at Aussie CAD right here. Aussie CAD, a little slightly different. We actually seen a slightly weak CAD. Slightly weak. My bad. Slightly strong Aussie dollar that's actually pushing the Canadian dollar a little bit weaker against the Aussie. So we've seen the Aussie not seen as much fire as we did with the other pairs. despite of this pullback. In fact, take a look right here. In the last 30 minutes, we actually have had a pullback. It's not reflecting that on the daily time frame right here. No, we've seen a little bit of a pullback compared to the rally that we saw in most of the day. Let's just see here, 66. Yeah, price is at 88.66. That's pretty much where we have it here. So there's been a strong rally in today's trading. And with a strong rally in today's trading, this bit of pullback that we're seeing right now is not really affecting how the daily time frame is actually indicating the way the market's going to go. So I'm going to say that there's a good chance that if we continue with this, AussieCAD may be moving back up to retest this resistance before we start seeing a good sell-off. Let's see, guys. I want to go ahead and firstly thank our sponsors. Just check out this video quickly here on our sponsor. Alrighty. I want to go ahead and thank NZDCAD for sponsoring our video. And if you're looking for a broker, check out NZDCAD. The links are down in our description. Check out the links down in the description as well. Traders, also another thing here is that don't forget we also got some additional data coming out. We've got the Bank of Canada press conference coming out at 10:30. So things aren't done yet. We're now going to see what the press conference reveals and then how the market is going to react accordingly. And we might see a reversal, or the market may continue, and this might just fire, or at least spoke the fire. And so press conference at 10:30 this morning. That is for Bank of Canada. And then, of course, the rest of the week, we still got some US data. So if you're following a pair like the US dollar CAD and you're monitoring the US dollar CAD, remember that there are two currencies. And so even though we are super excited about the movement that we're seeing right now, we also have to understand that there are two currencies, and any other data that is reported may either support what's moving or trade against what we're moving. And so as we go back to the data right here, we got another bit of data coming out at 10 o'clock. And you can see right here, we got jobs opening. This tends to be a US mover, and that's in the next... well, it's less than 5 minutes right here. So look out for that. It's going to be exciting. Traders, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys. If you like this video, please make sure that you smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a lot more of these where we go ahead and break down and brief sort of news announcements and just do a comparison with fundamentals and what the market's saying technically. Traders, have a fantastic afternoon. Have a great trading day. We'll see you next time. This is FX Big Dog signing off.